I thank you for honoring our invitation to this press conference. This conference was called because of the desire to put out our views and opinions on some topical issues bordering on engineering and nation building. One of the mandates of the Nigerian Society of Engineers is to collaborate and provide quality professional advice to government and other stakeholders in nation building. This is to uplift our country on all sides. As I believe you are already aware, engineering forms the formidable bedrock for holistic development in any nation. Therefore, it is my fervent hope that you will orchestrate the ideas and solutions profiled in our paper as news reports in your respective media outlets. Secondly, about the flood control in Nigeria. Floods are among the most devastating natural disasters in the world, claiming lives and causing damage to properties and infrastructure. In Nigeria, flood affects and displaces more than any other disaster yearly. After the 2012 flooding incident, several committees were set up by the governments at the federal level and the respective states affected by the flood. Also in November 2022, the federal government inaugurated a presidential committee on flood disasters. The mandate of the committee was to conduct research and develop comprehensive action plans for preventing flood disasters in Nigeria. As it stands today, the recommendations of studies conducted by the committees are yet to be fully implemented. Therefore, in response to the recurrent menace, and especially as the rains are here with us again this year, the NSC Council deemed it necessary for the society to make an informed statement on the mitigating measures for flooding. Floods cannot be prevented. They can only be managed to reduce their devastating consequences. The position paper put together by an ad hoc committee set up for the purpose was packaged as a press release material and has since been published in 3 national newspapers in June this year. It has become necessary for us to re-echo the strong suggestions made in that paper, as we have begun to see flooding incidences around Nigeria and even within the Federal Capital Territory. And with the threat that the authorities in Cameroon are going to open the Lagdo dam, we are likely going to have more of such floods. The NSC position paper on flood control in Nigeria enumerated the causes of flooding, the challenges occasioned by flooding, as well as solutions for mitigating the menace, which were categorized into short, medium, and long-term solutions. Copies of the paper will be circulated for your reference. The proposed hike in electricity tariff. Sometime in June this year, speculations broke out about the planned hike in the electricity tariff by the electricity distribution companies. The speculations were derived from a purported statement released by the discourse, which suggested that the tariff increase is a response to the floating of the naira and aims to ensure that the electricity industry remains financially viable and sustainable in the face of currency challenges. The statement cited MITO 2022 guidelines and proceeded to announce the proposed adjustment in the respective tariffs according to the consumer bands. We also know that one of the discourse letter released another statement urging Nigerians to disregard the initial statement as no approval had yet been obtained to make the increase effective. However, the speculations had generated enough controversies to and serve the suffering masses of our country. Being one of the major stakeholders in the electricity supply industry, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission invited NSE to a public hearing to consider the tariff review applications by the licensees. The hearing was held between 24th and 27th July 2023. NSE made a submission at that event which stated our categorical position on the tariff review debate. Our position was observed. A. In defending their applications, the discourse cited changes in economic indices. Although it is the industry norm to use the CBN NBS figures, most of the discourse brought figures that were at variance with the current reality. Figures as high as 30% inflation was used by a leading disco while quoting a consultancy outfit as their source. These assumptions will definitely give rise to a high weighted average cost of capital. And this is where it pinches. While citing changes in OPEX, what do you mean by OPEX? Operational expenditure, as the basis for their request for review, most of the licensees failed to justify the request since they did not show evidence of any increase in their circuit length, transformer numbers, increase in their staff salaries and numbers, increase in their metering and customer numbers, etc. C. It was also observed that the discourse spent a substantial amount of their approved OPEX for payment of consultancy services and technical partnership payments that do not translate to any operational efficiency or value for the customer. In all the presentations by the discourse, none of them came with verifiable evidence of their contracted feeder supply availability index to warrant or justify the feeder's upgrade and or customer reclassification as proposed. Our recommendations. A. The NEC should ensure that licensees are only allowed prudent and justifiable cost escalation as the pass-through costs only. Licensees should be made to look inwards and reduce their expenses on operational line items such as 1. Payment for technical partners, 2. Payment for consultants, 3. Payment for vending services billing collections, 4. An over-bloated payroll, 5. Payment for concession services that the staff can provide, 6. Heavy management and board expenses. B. The weighted average cost of capital should be prudently calculated for the industry, and even at that, no licensee should be allowed a new capex review now, as they have not demonstrated any firm capacity and commitment in the execution of the earlier approved capex. All unutilized allowed capex can be clawed back for them to execute as provisional sum only and to be claimed in the tariff only when executed. Discourse must adequately compensate their customers for any investment made in their network without any excuse. C. Licensees must be made to evacuate power, grow their customer number and metering as a sine qua non for their survival as a business. Discourse should bear the consequences of not adhering to the service level provisions in the service-based tariff regime on feeders' supply availability by adequately refunding the customers for non-adherence. The discourse should have an automatic and seamless arrangement in their vending server that will enable refund to all customers that purchase meters under the meter asset provider MAP or whatever arrangement that may have come. Last, NEC should not accept any receipt of ATC&C. ATC&C means aggregate technical, commercial, and collection losses figures without a clear pathway on who will absorb the cost therein. The era of MRO by way of government subsidy should stop, in line with the present government stand on subsidy payments. However, the lifeline customers in the rural areas should be identified and the impact of the economic indices be provided for in the pricing mechanism. 4. Fuel subsidy removal. The announcement by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, on May 29th that subsidy is gone has had ripple effects on every facet of our livelihood in Nigeria, expectedly, but unfortunately. I say expectedly because of the known fact that almost every social and economic activity in Nigeria is run on petroleum products, especially the premium motor spirit. It is unfortunate that the rhetoric of previous administration about efforts at diversifying the nation's economy has not yielded much results. Neither has exploration of our abundant solid mineral resources nor cultivation of our vast arable land masses for agricultural produce been fully exploited for the benefit of the Nigerian masses. From the administration of President Olusegun Obasanjo to the immediate past President Muhammadu Buhari, most unfortunately, none of this administration made any constructive efforts in reviving our moribund refineries, much less building new ones. So this is where we are today. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in his last broadcast to the nation, made a promise that his administration will support cultivation of 500,000 hectares of farmland and encourage all year-round farming practice. He also announced an investment of 200 billion in that sector. Gentlemen of the press, as much as we are in the support of the removal of fuel subsidy for the reasons adduced, that it has become a criminal conduit pipe for siphoning our scarce resources, we believe that the President Buhari's administration should have put the mitigating mechanism in place before the removal of subsidy from the budget early this administration. The announcement of plans for palliatives at this point that Nigerians are already in penury is ill-conceived, but it's never late. However, the debates and conversations that trailed the subsidy removal pronouncement sprouted the idea of conversion of sources of fueling from PMS to compressed natural gas, CNG. The conversion of PMS engine to CNG is of immense interest to the Nigerian Society of Engineers as a professional organization. As you are aware, the issue of sustainable environmentally friendly modes of transportation has become increasingly crucial for our nation. The utilization of alternative fuels holds immense potential to address this concern. The adoption of CNG as a viable alternative fuel has significant advantages. It is a cleaner burning fuel, emitting lower levels of harmful pollutants and greenhouse gases compared to conventional fossil fuels. Incidentally, the NSC has 4 divisions under its fold that have relevance to the subject matter of conversion from PMS to CNG. Therefore, we have mandated the leadership of the Automotive Locomotive Engineers Institute of Nigeria, AutoAI, the Nigerian Institute of Mechanical Engineers, NIMEKI, the Nigerian Society of Chemical Engineers, and the Nigerian Institution of Petroleum Engineers, all divisions of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, to tackle this challenge by developing practical solutions for effective conversion from PMS to CNG in a safer way. I'm expecting their proposed solution designs and possible practical demonstration on or before September 8th this year. 5. Ministerial portfolios. The President has just appointed and assigned portfolios to his ministers after their confirmation by the Senate. Even though we do not have any authority to dictate to His Excellency, the President, who to appoint into his cabinet, we have noticed that only 3 engineers are among the new ministers. His Excellency Engineer David Umahi, FNSE, Engineer Professor Osef, FNSE, and Engineer Abubakar Momo. We feel that the number is grossly inadequate, considering that we have up to 8 engineering-based ministries. In assigning portfolios to the ministers, all 3 engineer ministers were assigned core engineering portfolios. Engineer Umahi and Engineer Useb were given works and water resources respectively, while Engineer Momo was assigned Ministry of Niger Delta Development. While appreciating the President for considering having members in our society in his cabinet, we further entreat him to increase the number in future considerations. We hold a strong conviction that only engineers will function optimally in engineering-based ministries. 6. Launching of the Nigerian Society of Engineers Smart Innovation Hub. Recall that one of the cardinal agenda of our administration as President is the adoption of a smart secretariat for NSE. We have assiduously worked towards achieving this goal in the last 18 months that I have been on the saddle as President of NSE. As the world progresses into the era of the 4th Industrial Revolution, we have envisioned the NSE Smart Innovation Hub as a catalyst for a digital Nigeria, aligning with the federal government's national digital economy policy and strategy. Our goal is to nurture this innovation hub to become the Silicon Valley of Nigeria in the near future. Realizing that a smart office project is a growing concern that requires time and continuous improvement, we have set up a trustees, which is a committee to undertake all it takes to bring the project to full attainment. However, I'm happy to announce to you that we have reached an appreciable stage, and by the grace of God, the Smart Innovation Hub will be officially launched on Wednesday, September 13th, 2023. The NSE Innovation Hub will serve as a center for research and development on technology and innovation challenges and for improving the ease of doing business model to impact positively on the economic and technological development of our country. It will also include an artificial intelligence, Internet of Things laboratory, automation and engineering laboratory, virtual and physical offices, e-library, and lots more. The media will be invited to cover the launching and fundraising ceremonies. In conclusion, distinguished gentlemen of the press, I thank you for spending time with us at this event today. It is my fervent hope that you will escalate the issues and solutions delivered at this meeting in the reports in your respective media channels. Well, I must tell you, our members are up to date. They are up and doing. But I must tell you, I just left government. I just left government as a government worker. And I left earlier than when I'm supposed to leave, because I could not fit in. You as a professional, you advise professionally. You are not the one to take action on it. It is the management. So if the management does not give you the chance to do what you recommend, what can you do? So we can't, as a professional body, yes, we are run by our own MEMAT. And our own MEMAT has given room for us to try our own members who err professionally. And it's only when somebody has erred professionally that you call into order. So far as we know, none of our members was given work to go and do. You are supposed to fix this compressor, you are supposed to fix this FCC, and he did not do that. So the question of that it is our members who are not doing their work is not their concern. You know there must be authority is given. Somebody has to give you that authority. So if our members are not given authority to work, how can they work? So it is not their fault. You can train. Yes, the handbooks in the companies, the staff handbook, the staff training manual says you must train this person at this. You send him on training, he comes back, you don't give him job. What does he do? He can't pick the job by himself. That's why you hear us, we keep saying management, government. At worst, the managing director, you find out that even the companies don't have even boards. So the managing director is the sub. He reports to the minister. Minister directs. So if you are not directed, okay, for you to fix a machine, you need some funds, or you need some materials, and the materials are not provided. What do you do? So it is not that if an engineer, our member, is found wanting in his own duty, it is also incumbent on the employer to report him to us. Then we'll sit down and look at it. Is it his fault? What is it? We study, we give him fair hearing. And if he has erred, we punish him. So that is the situation, please. It is not that, don't put the whole blame on our members that are working in the refineries. They don't want, they would like to be working. They would like to be working. Nobody reads engineering to go and sleep. Everybody who reads engineering wants to be productive. And the more you work, the more experience you get, the more you sharpen your brain. So if we are not given job, what do we do? So please, that is my answer to that. Then the collapse buildings. You see, in the building industry, there are many professionals and there are many quacks. And believe you me, if you go and take the statistics of all the buildings that collapsed in the last 20 years, you find out that government buildings are about 10%. Government buildings are about 10%. Most of the buildings are private that collapse. And it is the private sector that is compromising. Usually government, there will be designs. Who is going to do the design must be a certified person to do the design. The person to review must be a certified person. The person to supervise must be a certified person. That is why most of the time you see government buildings are more expensive, because they involve all the professionals to do that. But private sector, somebody will tell you, I've been building, so I don't need a site engineer. When you do the design, he will pay you small amount, he will beat the price down for you to design structures for him. And when you design, you say, okay, payment, this is how much you are paying me, this is how much you are paying me to supervise. He will tell you, forget about supervision, I will get my engineer to supervise. He will go and get a young person or somebody who's not even registered, who is not even an engineer, to go to site and be giving orders. So you find out that the supervision, the design could be okay, the design is okay, but the supervision is not. Materials are not the correct materials. Sizes of reinforcements are not correct. So you can't blame the engineer alone. You have to investigate first, because it's better to allow a criminal to escape than to punish an innocent person. So you have to investigate what went wrong. It could be a design problem, or it could be a construction problem. And you have to pinpoint that before. So far, only few of these incidences involve our members. And in our own investigation, let me give you an example. The Ikoyi building that collapsed with the owner. About 3 companies walked out of that contract. 3 companies, engineering companies, walked out of that because the owner wanted them to compromise, and they refused. So he was doing it himself. Our own team that goes about under Koren, when they wanted to go to have access to that building, they were chased away by policemen in that place. So whose fault is it? We don't have, this society is a professional body. We don't have enforcement powers. All our own we are saying is within ourselves, that if one of our members derails, we call him back. What we are doing, what we can do is what we are doing today. Talk to government, send letters to government, advise government. Sometimes you don't see us calling you to address you. It's because we do things underground. We write to government. We write and advise. But people somewhere felt if they take our advice, it is to our advantage. But it is for the development of this country. That's why we are giving that pro bono advice. But I assure you, if any of our member is found wanted in any collapsed structure, not building only, because there are so many engineering structures that collapse. It's only building you people see. There are so many of them. Networks are failing. The telecommunication service providers fail us. You don't know. You try to make a call. You can't. It's a failure. And it has to be investigated. So many things. Your internet is showing you that there is network, but you can't browse. These are failures. They are all engineering failures. And we are investigating some of these things. So it is not only collapsed building, there are so many failures. So I want you to understand that anywhere our member is found wanting, I assure you we have what we call disciplinary and ethics committee. So once it is confirmed, we'll send that person to face for fair hearing. Then the number of using concrete. My sister, I must tell you, using concrete or asphalt is a professional debate that is left to the highway engineers now. And each and every one has its own pros and cons. And what we do, we leave it to them. But our belief is that there are situations where the best option is asphalt. And there are situations the best option is concrete. So you cannot come and cut across. I'm not a civil engineer, I'm an electrical engineer. But I must tell you, there are different types of soil. And the treatment of structures on those soils is different. So you cannot come and say straight jacket, go into concrete or go into asphalt. The minister is right in his own right as a civil engineer. He has his own reasons. The other people who are saying asphalt, they have their own reason. And the belief is that it is not in every situation that you have a single solution. So I think for those of us who are not civil engineers, we give it to the civil engineers. Okay, for each one of them, you know the reason why you want to have this. What is it trying to mitigate? Okay, use this solution for that. And you find out that, yes, we have concrete roads by Dangote in some other places. We have asphalt roads all over the country. And I think we have concrete roads in Ebonyi State. He did it somewhere. And it is just an academic discussion among the civil engineers, the highway engineers, which is prevalent in northeast and maybe in the south. The structures fell easily with that. And there are places where you have the rock formation is so strong that you do small treatment and the road is okay. So let us leave that one to the people in the field. In the military, they say for those who are on the ground, they know better. So we leave that one to the engineers on the ground doing the work. They know the best solution in such situation. Then the number of appointees. Yes, we have 18 engineering-based ministries. It's a fact. Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy. Somebody was calling himself a professor of computer science. Is saying that ministry should be his own. Let me tell you the truth. You cannot do anything ICT without communications. Everything you do on the ground here, it goes into communication network. Even the ICT, the computer engineers are the ones doing the infrastructure. So it's engineering based. And this engineering base is before when you go in as a non-professional in that ministry as minister, first thing you do, I believe within this period, these ministers are in the ministry. They are learning some of the registers in their ministry. They are learning. You put a minister who doesn't know what is MVA, what is the difference between MVA and kilowatt and all those things. Before you know it, he will have to start learning. When you are talking about the capacity charges in the tariff, he will have to learn that one. When you put somebody in a ministry that you are talking about infrastructure, all those infrastructures he has to learn. But if you put the right person there to go, yes, I agree with you that engineers will have to be in politics before. But I assure you, as I'm talking to you today, if all the 48 ministers this government appoints, they need engineers in their party. We have engineers in APC. After all, they took people from different parties. So why don't you pick professionals to do that? But as we said in the text of this speech, yes, we thank the government for the first time. For the first time, they are putting even the engineer ministers in the ministries that they should work. They are put a civil engineer in the Ministry of Works. They have put a civil engineer in the Ministry of Water Resources. They have put a civil engineer in the Ministry of Niger Delta Development. Most of the work these ministries do are really civil engineering works. And you will see changes, I assure you. You will see positive changes with these engineers. He just mentioned CNG and said Kaduna Port Harcourt refinery. So that's what he said. He didn't ask question on CNG. But as you said, you see, in every system there's advantage and disadvantage. If we are trying to reduce the use of PMS because of maybe the costs, the environmental impact, and all those things, yes, there could be some changes on the maintainability of the engines, lubrication, then you know that it is more economical to run CNG as per the use of the fuel, but not others, not tear and wear of the engine. That is why we have commissioned these 4 divisions. They are the professionals. the auto AI, the mechanical engineers, the petroleum engineers, the chemical engineers. All these four, they are the ones that control the operation of this, of CNG and engines, internal combustion engines. So these ones will come back to us. This issue you say you have read, they will come back to us with such issues if it really exists. They will tell us, yes, research work has shown that this increases and this on this, and how do we mitigate it? They have to come back with a solution. That's the difference between us and just setting up a committee of people who are not experts. People who are not experts. I have not seen us being engaged. Government talking about CNG cannot be serious without engaging the Nigerian engineers. I doubt if this what they intend to do, they really want to sustain it. You must involve the engineers. The engineers are the ones to tell you the pros and cons. Others who come to you, they are vendors. They are vendors to government. We here, our own is to advise government. It is part of our objectives since 1958 that we should advise government on these issues. So if government is not ready to engage us, we are now putting forward ourselves to government that the Nigerian engineers, through the Nigerian Society of Engineers, are ready to work on this and have it sustained. Let me give you this example. We had a webinar and our colleagues from Ghana joined us on this. And one of them, the past president of the Ghana Institute of Engineering, informed us that yes, in Ghana they started it. After some time, government came with a policy to stop using the gas for transportation. They should allow the gas to be used for cooking. So possibly what could have informed that is Ghana could not produce enough gas to service the market of cooking and transportation. But in Nigeria we have enough. It may not be applicable here. So it could be another thing. Now, if we come up with reasons why government should not embark on CNG, we will do that. We will tell government. Sincerely, we will tell government this is what is going to happen. But if it is not going to be detrimental to the economy and the environment in Nigeria, definitely we will go for it and we will tell government on the best way to continue with it. That is what we are trying to do. But at the onset, honestly, the Nigerian Society of Engineers was not invited by any arm of government on this, and we felt it may not be in the best interest of this country not to engage the engineers on an engineering issue. So that is what we have on the CNG. Then on the release of the water from Lagdo, I think that paper we presented it here. We have brought out solutions. And the solutions depend on, first, before the flooding, before the water comes, what are you supposed to do? When the water comes, what are you supposed to do? We have this tendency of people moving into the floodplains of these rivers to build their structures. And government is watching them. And once water is released, the water must be released. I must tell you this. The reason is, you build a dam on a river for a purpose. And that river, that dam has a strength. It's either you intentionally release the water through what we call floodgates, or it will it will wash away the embankment. Yes. So for the Cameroonians to release water is saving their dam. It's saving their dam. And by the time this water is released, are we ready? Are our structures on that River ready. Honestly, we don't have any structure, any dam on River Benue. Unlike River Niger, when water is released from Putejalo down to Niger, from Guinea to Niger to that, the water reaches us usually in September. As I'm talking to you now, only water within Nigeria is flowing in River Niger. The water coming from Putejalo is coming in September. Very soon it will come. We call it white flood. It comes in, and we have enough reservoir because the reservoir is between Nigeria and Putejalo. But for the one on River Benue, the reservoir is from Lagdo Dam to Nigeria. So it can come, when it comes, it goes, nobody controls it. But if you have dams on River Benue, you'll be able to, okay, stop here. We'll be using you from time to time because you'll be generating electricity with it. Now we don't have anything, so it goes into the floodplains where our people have built their houses. And that is why you see so many communities being washed out. But if those communities did not go within the floodplains, they won't be affected. That is the situation with the release of the water from that. That is why the authorities are informing people that the water is going to be released. And the long-term solution and the medium-term solution is to build more dams. And we have stated clearly, our government has plans to build these dams. It has been designed since to build these dams, and we don't know why subsequent governments all this while have abandoned those issues, and our people are suffering. So it is now for government to swing into action, and I'm sure the Minister of Water Resources will act on this, and as he's one of us, and we'll be talking to him, we'll be talking to government on this. Then the smart office, as I said, we just received the news that federal government is going to empower 2 million young Nigerians through innovation. We conceived the smart office about 4 years ago. And what we intend to have in the smart office are 2 or 3 parts. The first part is a research laboratory where we do research on innovation. AI, Internet of Things, instrumentation, so many areas, including different fields of engineering, including civil engineering research work. We'll be doing it here. Now, that is an arm of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. Then the research work has to be commercialized. We're not going to be like researchers in universities in Nigeria, where you do research just to get certificates. This research are going to be commercialized. We have an entrepreneurial arm that will make sure that these works are modeled and are sold out. That is going to be taken by our own company. The Nigerian Society of Engineers has its own company, separate from NSE. NSE Ventures is going to handle that one. Then the smart office, we envisage the best ways to help our young engineers. I was expecting this question from you. Most Nigerian engineers are not productive. They like to get a job. You graduate from university, you want a job in government. That is not the design of an engineer. An engineer is expected to be an entrepreneur. He doesn't have to look for a job. He will create the job himself. But with the Nigerian legal system, you can't create a job. You can't create these things without a company. You must register a company. So the moment you graduate, you come out, okay, We teach you how to be entrepreneur. Yes, establish your company. Do I have money to hire an office? It is difficult, especially in places like Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, all these big places where the business is. So we now say, okay, here we are going to create that platform for our members to open their to register their companies with their office as this place as their registered office. We give them suite number. It's a virtual number. They register, and we have all the details about that person because he's our member. We have all the details about him. Then once he has registered his company, it will be more acceptable to the public if my company is registered an office here than in my office where it is now. Because anybody who wants to do business on engineering, he knows that, your office is at the headquarters of NSE. He will be open to you and do business with you. So they will have that advantage. What happens if there is going to be a physical meeting? Yes, we will have well-equipped office here, engineering design office. We will equip it and we will allow you to use it at your own request. Once you request, you have a business to discuss with company Z coming to Abuja to see you. We schedule you, you come in, stay in your office, your visitors come, you interact with them, you finish interaction, they leave, you leave the office. We give it to another person to use. So in case you have deliveries, they come here, we keep it for you, you come and pick it. So you don't have to have a physical office on your own to do business. You can have NSE and you pay very minimal amount of money to maintain an office. So that's what the services we want to give our young engineers, so that they will be, and you will have all the materials you need here, all the equipment you need to run an office. You have the plotters, you have your design, you come in. We don't even allow you to come in with a computer. We'll give you cloud storage. You just register, you do whatever you do at your own convenience somewhere, upload it into the cloud, come in here, download it, you have your account, download it, print it, plot it, package it, and go and submit. That's what we want to give our members. That is the smart office. And if government is ready to empower young people, and we have this, I think we are the best partners for government. We are the best partners. Government will say, come, let's see how you go about it. And when we do it, it can be replicated. We are in partnership with 3 other hubs. The Innovate is on Airport Road here. They have a research institute and incubation center, just like what we want to have. We have TD4Pi, which is a non-governmental body that is into research in IoT and AI. We have the engineering, instrumentation, automation and instrumentation engineering academy is in Ibadan. They are here. They are going to be here. We already have support by our members. Now we want to make it open to the public. That look, if you are really passionate about empowering youth, if you are really passionate on technological development, if you are really passionate about investing in Nigeria, please come and work with us. That's what we are doing. We are expecting the Senate President, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to be here on the 13th of September to launch the smart office. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Next up,